This is Off the Court with OG. My name is Kristian Cuaresma. If you're new to the show, each and every single episode, NetsGC General Manager and Head Coach OG King Curt pulls back the curtain over at Nets Gaming Crew, the NBA 2K League affiliate of the Brooklyn Nets. On today's episode, we'll check in with Curt now that most of his team is finally in market here in Brooklyn. But before we get things going, let's take some time to talk about our friends over at Zenny Gaming. Make sure to armor your eyes with Zenny Block's virtually clear blue blockers. Whether you're streaming your favorite TV shows or playing your favorite video games, we know you're spending hours in front of a screen, so it's important to protect your eyes from any harmful blue light. Zenny Blocks will not only reduce eye strain, but also improve your sleep. That way you'll have all the energy you need to watch NetsGC throughout Season 5. Visit zenny.com/gaming and follow Zenny Gaming on Twitter and Instagram. Make sure to also follow Nets Gaming Crew on all social platforms. And without further ado, let's start the show. Curt, welcome to Off the Court, episode 21. Before we get into talking about the team now being in Brooklyn for the most part, I wanted to maybe also quickly talk about how at the top of every episode, I record this intro. And I always mention you as the general manager and the head coach of NetsGC, which you are both. But one thing I quickly learned about you, particularly during the pre-draft process, is you don't really look at yourself as a 2K coach. And I've heard your reasoning for it, but for those that haven't, explain your thought process there maybe.
Yeah, I've always considered myself the manager because these guys and women who play 2K, they play a significant amount of 2K, more than any of the general managers and coaches that's out there. So although I think I do have a detailed knowledge about the game, players always have more. So I think I always take the responsibility of more or less just managing the players and their personalities and their temperaments and things of that nature. That can help make them a better player and collectively make us a better team. So I always like the term manager. I'm there for them to manage situations on and off the virtual court. So I take a lot of pride in doing that.
Definitely. So as we kind of mentioned maybe a minute ago, a majority of the team is now in Brooklyn. They're in market. The only exception being Doc, who's still in Toronto. We expect him coming into market soon. Talk to us about move-in day and how was that like? What was that experience like, especially with finally getting to meet Streets and Tate in person and start to kind of develop that camaraderie?
Yeah, for me, luckily, I'm blessed. I have staff and personnel in place to help assist with the process. It can be a long day full of events. Mariama Berry, who's the business operations coordinator, she coordinated the flights, transportation from the airport to the apartments, helped facilitate the setup with the apartments and everything. So shout out to her and managing and making sure everything was taken care of on that end. But, his new name is Tate. He got game, but we call him Mike. So, Mike was the first player to arrive in Brooklyn. He was sent off by his mom and his older brother. They were here with him. Definitely got a chance to talk to her, answer any questions she might have had or anything like that. This was his first time being away from home. So I think it was important for me to at least establish some sort of relationship with her so she knows that she can call or text me anytime, if she can't get in touch with him or anything like that, or wants to know what's going on with her child. So I always think it's important to establish those relationships. But got moved in. It was pretty much like him moving from home to college. She made sure he was taken care of and toiletries and everything like that. Although I told her, I said, we provide a lot of that, but definitely had a great time meeting her and his brother. And then, Streets got in from Chicago. He was, just as subtle as ever. Happy to be here. I also got a chance to talk to his mom and talk to his grandma. So I had a real fun time doing that, and I got familiar with them. But yeah, it just was good to see guys, happy to be here, meeting them for the first time. And last but not least, Steve's had came in later from Cali, and that pretty much rounded out everybody who had to travel. Shots was already in New York, so it was kind of a smooth transition for him. And just the way the setup is this year is that typically we have 6 players, but we only have 5 this season. So we got two bedrooms and 1 studio, which is Shots is staying pretty much by himself. But it was a great day. Got a chance for everybody to get together, talk for a second, and starting our journey the following day.
Yeah, and it's interesting that you bring up, these side stories and anecdotes of meeting their parents, meeting the grandparents, just meeting relatives in general. This is your 4th season now doing this with NetsGC. Does that part ever get old, kind of seeing the man or the person behind the game, behind the gamer tag? Because you're kind of starting to see their first step towards becoming an adult and being a man, specifically with someone maybe like Tate.
No, never. I think that's one of the bonuses of this, job and career is that you get a chance to help mold younger players, younger individuals, and being a part of their process as they mature. So I always take a sense of pride of it. I mean, I have kids that's older, and so I've been there, kind of done that type thing. But it definitely never gets old. I mean, it kind of brings me back to. I remember in my first season, Lav had never received a paycheck before. So I was, showing him about pay stubs and different things like that. And I had never thought about that until that moment. Like, man, some of the players that come in have never had jobs. Like they've worked, but maybe never and got paid, but never had like physical jobs or physical pay stubs and things of that nature. So just like I said, being a part of the process and helping them grow and mature, I don't think that ever get old.
And now, for those who don't know, Lav made a cameo in the first episode of Crew Access, which is on the YouTube channel that you're watching this video on. So make sure you check that out as well. Final question of the show before I let you go, Curt. You guys, had the visit to HSS, met with AB, met with the very deep staff over there at Nets Gaming Crew. You were at the Long Island Nets games. You saw a couple college games. How important is it for this time of the season for the guys to build chemistry, enjoy each other's company first, and begin to get comfortable in their very new environment, at least for the most of them?
No, I think it's critical. A lot of people try to downplay it. I mean, and particularly you get those type of vibes from people who haven't been in the league or not in the league or wish they was in the league. But I think the overall activities of what you do away from the game and how you connect with each other, it definitely transfer onto the court. The more I personally believe, the more you care about each other away from the game, the more you're going to care about each other when it comes game time. Had a great time at HSS, met with Alton Bird, who's the Senior Vice President of Go Properties, oversees Long Island Nets and SGC. Met with a lot of other prominent people, met the CEO, John Abermondi. It was just pretty much a meet and greet. We sat out in the lunch in a town hall, ate lunch. Everybody, people was just coming up, talking to the guys, getting to know them, talking about 2K, talking about their stories and different things of that nature. So it was it wasn't formal, but it was very like casual leisure. But it was great. And they got a chance to get to know a lot of different people. And then following that, we went to the Long Island Nets game. Had a great time, sat courtside, got a chance to, take in a game. And unfortunately, they didn't prevail that day, but it was pretty loud and intense. It was Education Day. And a lot of kids, I think it was like 3,000 or 4,000 kids, and it was super loud. But I had a great time traveling there and back. I actually had a case where in Brooklyn, it was just like raining a little bit. But then by the time we got to Long Island, we was getting hit with like snowflakes. So I had a nice journey with that. I then came back and of course, the ACC championship was held at Barclays Center. And we came back and watched some thrilling games, watched a buzzer beater, and just got a chance to overall spend some time together. And the new guys got a chance to look at, where they're going to be homed at for the next 6 months as far as the training facility. So just great times, especially on the way back. We walked back and Streets got a chance to meet an unwanted guest before he introduced to the apartment, and I'm not going to give up too much of that. You're just going to have to make sure you stay tuned in to Crew Access all year long, where we're going to be bringing you a lot of behind the scenes video and just document series of NetsGC throughout season 5.
Definitely right. I can't wait for the supporters and followers of NetsGC to see that footage. But I mean, that wraps it up for us on episode 21, Curt, of Off the Court. If there's one thing that's certain, it's great to see the guys, finally in their NetsGC gear, be in New York, because it means we are one step closer to the start of season 5. Curt, as always, I appreciate you for taking time out of your busy schedule to join us on Off the Court. We're excited to see the guys in action, and we'll see you guys on the next episode. One final shout out to our friends over at Zenny Gaming. Make sure you check them out in the link in the description box below. Also, while you're at it, follow Nets Gaming Crew on all social platforms. If you like today's content, feel free to drop a like on the video and subscribe to the channel on YouTube on your way out. The crew grows every single day, and it's because of supporters like yourself. On behalf of Curt and everyone over at NetsGC, my name is Kristian Cuaresma, and this was Off the Court with OG.